5 queer books for kids under 5.
This is a great book for introducing small children to the idea of being non-binary.
Hi friends, let's read the book today, I'm Not a Girl, by Maddox Lyons and Jessica Verdi. Pause to read what it's about. Today is picture day. I hate picture day, but nobody understands. You look so pretty in this, Mom tells me. I don't want to be pretty, not on picture day, and not on Halloween either. How about a princess gown, the salesperson asks, or fairy wings? Finally, I find the perfect costume. A pirate it is, maybe, but Mom takes a different costume off the rack. Beth comes over to trick or treat. How come you get to dress like a boy? I grumble. She shrugs. My mom says she used to be a tomboy too. What's a tomboy? A girl who likes boyish stuff. Oh, that's not me then. I'm not a girl, I tell her. Beth looks confused. I'm not a girl, I say again, taking out my sword. Beth draws her sword too. Nobody seems to hear me, so I try to show them what I mean.
Wow. It just goes on and on. Hey, everyone. YouTube told me to do this video, actually. They said my subscribers would be interested in talking about children's books. Oh, my God. I just can't even believe that this has become a thing, talking to kids about. So I want to go back to this. First off, thanks so much for joining me today. Thanks for liking, and thanks so much for subscribing to the channel. It helps a lot. So with that, I want to say that, wow, you know, I don't know if you caught that, but her friend comes over dressed like a pirate, and then she's like, wow, how come you get to dress like a pirate? And she's like, I'm a tomboy. And then basically like, no, I'm not a tomboy. Why would you say, why, what? So in my opinion, because that was me as a kid, I full on wore boy clothes. I was a tomboy, and it was completely, totally fine. No one ever mentioned trans anything. It was like, okay, you're a girl who likes to wear boy stuff, and you know, never once was I told I was a boy. Never once as long as I was playing with the boys and dressed like a boys and around the boys, I felt the most comfortable. But it wasn't like, no, you're not a girl. Well, never was suggested. So this person is like saying that they're not a tomboy either. And where are the parents? What's happening here? And then the kid is just like, it's such an indoctrinating book, in my opinion. And it's like 3 minutes. That's why I'm not going to play it. But it goes on and on and on about how, you know, I just know that I'm not a girl. I just know that I'm not. And this is like a little kid who's like, I don't even know, like super young, maybe 8 years old or something like that. And again, so today I want to show you all of these books that are being totally targeted to young kids and identity, and teaching them about this make-believe identity. It's a make-believe identity. Non-binary trans is a make-believe identity. I'm going to keep repeating myself. Trans is an actual disorder. There is no doubt kids who have some form of dysphoria, 100%, but they're not trans. They are creating these identities that are going to blow up in everybody's faces. And I personally, in my opinion, as an adult transsexual and as an adult and as somebody who has a child and getting another child, I will tell you that I do not believe children need to be reading these kinds of books. They just need to, if a kid feels off or whatever, what's wrong with talking about being a tomboy? Or are boys who like to dress in girls' clothes called tom girls? I don't even know. What are they called? So I want to get into this next one here. I have some really, I was on TikTok looking for stuff. I couldn't even believe the amount of stuff that's on there. So I just felt like these ones tell the story I want to tell today. So let's add this one now.
5 queer books for kids under 5. We have Love Makes a Family, which shows pretty diverse family representation, but doesn't talk explicitly about queerness. Great for normalizing and talking about all the different ways we see and show love. Love in the Wild, again, doesn't talk at all about queerness explicitly, but shows a variety of animals in love. It's also just stinking beautiful. Rainbow, a first book of Pride, talks about what the colors of the pride flag mean in really, really basic one-sentence terms. The Pronouns book, super simple, incredible first starter on pronouns. Little inside peek. And this one, though not explicitly queer, is very colors focused and a good addition. All of these books and more are linked in my Amazon storefront. And hopefully you can get some in your libraries and local bookstores too.
Hopefully we don't get these books into libraries. 5 queer books for kids under 5. I mean, let's just take a minute here for a second. What? If you all don't think that's some form of indoctrination, come on, man. That's pure, total indoctrination. 5 years old? No, seriously, I'm just speechless that these are books. What library is going to carry these, and why would you carry these? And why would you even read? So you're going to mix your kid up already about the English language and start talking about these crazy, weird pronouns that make no sense. And then they're going to get older and they'll be like, that's not what they is. And that's not what them is. And what's zize, zer, zim, zoo, zet? Wow. Just wow, people. So, I'm perfectly okay with books being put out there. I do not believe on banning books in any way, shape, or form. But what I do believe in, there's appropriate spaces for appropriate books. So you might as well just put pornographic books for 10-year-olds to read. It's literally the same thing. What are you talking about? Where are the boundaries? That's why we have boundaries. And that's why there's adult stuff and there's children's stuff. Like, what are you people doing? This is so insane. So, yeah, you can't ban a book. I don't necessarily believe in banning or those words, but I think there's appropriate spaces for these books. Now, that being said, because I said that, should somebody have access to these books? Yeah, because I do think in the freedom to write and do it. But I think also we need to be aware that these books exist out there, and we need to be aware that if they're being put in a public space, we as people in a public space should be able to say, hey, wait a minute, I don't want my child to see that. So maybe it needs to be in a space that's just the LGBTQ pee pee poo poo space, right? So I think that's a conversation I'm willing to have with you all. So put that in the comments down there. I took the music out because it was copyright. Kids' books with transgender characters, right? So here we go. When Aiden became a brother, I'm not a girl. The other one, there we go. Oh my God, picture books, the pronoun book. These are for little kids. Red, I don't even know. That's probably about some little, it feels good to be yourself. Why can't you just be yourself then? What something are your words? The rainbow book. Older elementary books. So this is elementary school books. Come on, man. Just stop. I'm laughing. It's because it's so... Okay, so let's move on to this next one.
Kids about trans people in passing. Here's how I might use My Rainbow by Trinity and Deshauna Neal to start a simple conversation. What a beautiful story. I wonder if Trinity wanted long hair in order to pass. My dad said it will be a miracle if my sister passes her math test. Actually, since we're talking about gender, passing is when a transgender person like Trinity is assumed to be cisgender. With long hair, people are more likely to know that Trinity is a girl. Long hair can help her pass. But why does she want to pass? Good question. Trans people can look a million different ways, and all of those ways are beautiful. But it can feel really good when other people see who you are. Why can't they see you? Is it dark out? Remember those untrue ideas about gender we talked about? They can keep people from seeing Trinity as a girl, even though she is one. The way she does her hair can change how people see her. So that they call her a girl and use she, her pronouns? Yes, it probably makes her so happy when people see her the way she sees herself. Passing can also help keep her safe from people who don't understand what it means to be trans. Maybe we can help them understand, like you're helping me. That is a really good idea. After this conversation, remind your child that we can't know someone's gender just by looking at them, and model using they, them pronouns for every new person you see. And follow Mr. Brent's bookshelf for more tips and tools for talking with children about all the beautiful ways to be human.
Literally teaching kids the wrong use of the language. Also lying to them. You can't see, 99% of the people look the way they are, okay? Then there's people who probably look androgynous, very few people. Also, if you tell a kid that you're going to mess up on someone's pronouns and make them all nervous and freaked out, isn't that really a horrible thing to lay on a child? A lot of kids, when I was a kid, and then other kids would be like, are you a boy or a girl? That has been around forever, and there's nothing wrong with that. But this person right here is teaching this is indoctrination. This isn't trans is not an identity. It is a disorder. And they have literally captured it and taken it over as an identity choice for these young kids to identify as trans. And then talking about some people don't look like, yeah, you're right. Some people don't look like a boy or a girl. What's the problem with that? So what? So what? They could still be a boy or a girl, and they are a boy or a girl. Okay, so what does that even matter? Why don't we just talk about there's some girls who like to look like boys and some boys who like to look like girls, and that's completely normal. Also, you know what's creepy is these people who are selling these books. They just have a creep vibe to them. You know what I'm talking about? That P vibe that I'm talking about. They're just creepy.
This is a great book for introducing small children to the idea of being non-binary. And a lot of LGBTQ kid lit really focuses on identity terms and ends up not being very accessible to its target audience, young readers. Let's see how Airlie Anderson does things differently in Neither. Once upon a time, there were two kinds, this and that, these and those, one or the other. Right away, we see we are in a world of binaries, bunnies, and birds. And if you look very closely, there might be a couple that don't perfectly fit in. But broadly speaking, everybody is the same until honk. Ask your child, oh, what do you think that is? Is that a bunny or a bird? And you know what? The crowd asks the same question. What kind are you? I'm both. You can't be both. You must be neither. I'm neither? Why don't you find somewhere else? You're not one of us. You're neither. Neither, neither, neither. You could ask, what feelings are our friends having right now? Maybe one feels sad and some of the other ones feel angry. And, you know, a great touch from this author is that there is not on-page, like, narration. You can just get the dialogue. It's a great example of trusting your reader, even when they're very young, to infer the story you're telling if you're telling it well. Where did you come from? Honk. I'm from the land of this and that, but I'm neither, so I'm looking for somewhere else to fit in. This isn't somewhere else, but you will fit in here. Where is here?
Again, I've got to say it again. Just the creepy voice, the creepy energy, teaching little kids about non-binary and that binary isn't really a thing, but like, what? Again, I'm not about banning books. I think everyone should be able to write a book, but is it appropriate? It really is a question. Is it appropriate? Now, as a parent, you're allowed to teach your kid about anything you want at home. You go right ahead, teach your kid about stuff like that, and you wait to see when they grow up and they realize, why did you teach me that insanity? So I'm going to tell you, I really feel like these books are indoctrination. Why are we talking to 5-year-olds about queerness? Why are we talking to 8-year-olds about non-binary? Why aren't we talking to them about there is man and woman? Then there's a very small percentage of people who might feel different. Why can't we just have this conversation that it's very normal? There's nothing wrong. This kid could have gender dysphoria. Let's help them with mental health. Let's move them forward. But every day that you put these books in front of that is literal indoctrination of the child.
Is an amazing young adult graphic novel about a kid who comes from a long line of magical girls and is tasked with saving the world. The only problem? He's a trans boy. So not only does he have to deal with both the enemies he fights and the people in his life not understanding or accepting his identity, but he also has to figure out how to harness his magic, make it his own, and fight back the evil that's trying to take over the world. Luckily for him, he has a couple amazing friends, a new gender-affirming haircut and clothing, and some pretty cool magic. This book is magical, boy.
Why do they always sound like that? Another one. Sounds so creep. Just creep, okay? So also, a whole bunch of girls, okay? Wonderful girls, but then this person who is a girl is not really a girl. They're a trans boy. Like, what? Why can't they just be Why can't they just be a masculine girl? Do they even make tomboy books anymore? I'm like even wondering if they're even existent. I think I should write a tomboy book. Okay. I'm just like, this is so pathetic and wrong. So if you're only going to have non-binary and trans books and queer books, where's the tomboy books? Or where's the, like, I don't think you should be teaching kids about sexuality per se, but like, where's the tomboy? Tomboy doesn't necessarily mean you're gay or any of that. But that being said, like, where's that? Where's that part of the conversation? And the other thing I noticed with the majority of these books, they seem to be, in my opinion, and from me watching this, they really do seem to be targeting young girls. I haven't really seen the opposite of this so far. Everything has been about trans boys and non-binary, but I really, I think the first one was I am a girl. Maybe that one was, oh no, it was I am not a girl. So I think the majority of all these have been about trans boys, which are girls. That is very interesting too. The majority of kids that are transitioning are girls. The majority of the detransitioners are girls. We all must be paying attention to this. It isn't a level playing field. It is not a level playing field.
Some like the body they were born in, while others want to change. It's not a sin. Look at all these beautiful trans people. This one's intersex and trans. This one has visible top surgery scars and is chubbier and has some acne and facial hair. This one's missing a limb, and this one has vitiligo, if you look really close. Everyone who helped with my book, from illustrations to editing to reviewing it before it even came out, have all been either intersex or intersex and trans.
Let me just remind you, intersex is not trans. I have interviewed intersex people. They are totally pissed about, you can't be intersex and trans, okay? And why are you putting intersex with trans? It's not even near the same thing. The intersex people I know are so mad about this, and the co-opting of language that you all do from the whole assigned, that is actually from the intersexed language. They have to assign somebody a male or female at birth when you're intersex because they don't really understand, right? So that's why you're assigned. People who are not born intersexed get assigned what your actual sex is. And that's you're not assigned it, you are born it. See how they're indoctrinating all this stuff in language and twisting it up and gaslighting? The other thing that's very, very twisted about that, and the reason why I wanted to show it, was they're again highlighting the scars as if it is something you should be proud of. And this is for young people. So they're all, and then this one is a little chubby, right? A little chubby with scars and acne. Who wants to do that? Who wants to achieve that? What are you achieving? So why are you even highlighting chubbiness, okay? Yeah, it's going to happen, but we shouldn't be promoting that. That is actually an unhealthy lifestyle. And the majority of these young people who I do see on TikTok, they're all overweight, all of them. I have been championing for health since I transitioned. It is the number one best thing I did along with this, is to keep myself healthy and focused and trim and athletic and all those things. It takes time and energy. It's not just doesn't magically happen. The reason I did that is because at 63, I am solid. And that being said, after 33 years of testosterone at this point, but that being said, now they're promoting that, you don't need to be that way. And the thing is that testosterone puts weight on your body and not healthy weight. It will just give you all this horrible weight. And so many of the kids that I see are teetering on obesity. There's so many of them. So not only are they dealing with the testosterone stuff, it's going to, on your heart. Testosterone already puts a lot of stress on your heart. So now on top of that, putting weight on top of it is just the most look, they're not promoting health through transition. They're promoting something else. And I'm just not even sure what is it, long-term medical? It's just really, man, I know I say it all the time, you guys, but I'm just disgusted by the whole thing.
Most perfect recommendations specifically for your question. She's my dad and he's my mom. This one is about a mom whose pronouns are he, him, and this one is about a dad whose pronouns are she, her. Like literally perfect for what you're looking for. I also love my Maddie. This one is about a parent who is non-binary. This question is also really perfect for the trans rights readathon. So here are a couple of board books and picture books specifically about gender and trans kids for you to read this week, starting with Being You. Kids need to understand what is gender and gender identity, gender expression versus gender identity. All of these things are really important, and this is a great start. The pronoun book. How do you know what a person's pronouns are? You ask them. You don't make assumptions. Bye binary. Another one. Not everybody's going to fit neatly into boy or girl. Some people are going to be either or neither. It's fine. And lastly, Pink is for boys, because breaking gendered stereotypes is super important for making a better world for all of us, both trans, cis, and non-binary. Books about pronouns for our picture book readers. Peyton's Pronoun Party. ABC of Gender Identity. What are your words? And A House for Everyone. These are great books to help kids understand the different pronouns that are out there and how they might see them out in the world. And let's finish up today with some books with actual trans kid representation.
Oh, God.
I Am Jazz, My Rainbow, which is one of my absolute favorites, Jack Not Jackie, and I'm Not a Girl.
Oh,
So
there
what are
it
you going
is.
to be reading for the Trans Rights Readathon? Here at the store, every book that we sell written by a trans author, we're going to donate 10% of that to the Michigan Equality, which is
Michigan.
that fights for the rights of LGBTQIA plus people in the state of Michigan.
Oh my God, that one also. There's another one. The whole costume on, talking like they're on speed and like through all the books. See all those books? Tons and tons. So they're having the trans readathon. You go right ahead. You go right ahead and have the trans readathon. That's what I'm talking about. Keep it out of public spaces. If you want to do this weird stuff with your kid and read them weirdo books at 5 years old and 5 queer books, there's not much we can do about it. That's part of living in the United States. We should all have the rights to do. But I'm going to keep pushing back on this stuff. And I hope there's confused parents out there watching me today. And, whatever you need, just reach out to me. I will find you books that will actually help you get back to the right direction. And actually help you to figure out what's going on. Because if your kid is a boy wearing pink, who cares? If your kid is a girl who wants to dress like a pirate, who cares? The best advice I can give you is, who cares? Make no big deal about it. Just let them be themselves. These people are making a big deal about it. Don't you see that? They're making a big deal about it instead of just letting kids just be themselves and find their space. Instead, the parents are pushing all of this stuff. Everyone's freaked out because my kid is wearing nail polish. And, like, my God, you all would have freaked out in the 80s with the long hair rock and roll bands. I mean, my God, these dudes totally look like chicks, but they're dudes. And they got so many chicks. Believe me, it was like the hottest thing, being a long-haired rocker dude who looked like a chick and wearing makeup. And they weren't trans. They were just dudes. So these last two I have are really important because wait till you see who I'm bringing up next. This is going to scare you.
Of the 9th most banned book in America just came out with a children's book.
Of course.
It's called You Need to Chill by Juno Dawson. Some books focus on the difficulties of being a trans kid, but not this one. Sure, it addresses the arguments against trans people, but it tells them, hey, you need to chill. Let's focus on the love, community, and acceptance that comes with being a trans kid. The author, Juno Dawson, used to be a school teacher, so she knows exactly what goes into a good kid's book. There's rhymes, there's bright pictures and colorful illustrations. There's also a call and response where the kids say, you need to chill. Plus, it's written from the perspective of someone who has a trans sibling, so it's all about being a good ally. You can get the book basically anywhere, like Target and Amazon or anywhere online, as well as Juno's other book, This Book is Gay. I also did an hour-long interview with the author Juno. You can get that at the link in my bio, as well as any resources if you want to use this book in your classroom.
Just imagine that. I had to put that in because we all know who that is. And that person is now promoting children books. This person is a total pee person. It is so disgusting and gross. And the fact that this person is like the author read the book with them. Oh my God, that boycott the author. Hopefully this person is going to get off of there. That person is eating the attention up. I really don't want to promote them, but I think it's important within this whole storyline I'm showing you here today and Barfy. So the last one I have is very, very important because I'm not the only transsexual person who believes that these kids should be left alone and that this is not a subject for children and that there is targeting happening. And when you get Lily in on it, that just says it all right there. Okay, so watch this.
You Need to Chill by Juno Dawson.
Leave kids alone. It's inappropriate to talk about your cake pops all the time and try and promote traffic to see your baked goods other places and to make trans content for kids, all on the same page. You have adult topics on your page. You literally have a my first time story time and a video of an electric toothbrush. Let's just call it that. Clearly not family friendly and not appropriate. This isn't your only attempt. The Miss Rachel cosplays, not once, but twice, Disneyland, and using such colorful food objects in public to describe such private and graphic surgeries. It's not okay. What actually needs to chill is this content consistently directed at kids. A page is either family friendly or it's not. It's very simple.
Love it. I just love watching more and more trans people step up. Mostly it seems to be more trans women than trans men, but I think it's going to come sooner than later. And I just love it. It makes me so happy. I think that all the trans adults are finally speaking up. Never too late. I mean, I wish people could have started doing this earlier, but to me, it's just never too late. The sooner we get on this and the more people start to talk about this and the more people start to see us adult transsexual people say, kids don't belong in this space. What is all this crazy? This is not even a tiny sliver of the trans children books that I found on TikTok. Just a sliver. Who's publishing this stuff? And will it continue? So I think this is the other thing I want to leave you all with this. Let's keep our eye on this as the transgender movement slides off and the trans kids thing slides off because it's just going to. It's getting all shut down. Okay. I want to see what happens with these trans books. Are they going to continue to publish these books? Because right now they're making money. There's no doubt about it. Or is that going to pull back? Because again, is the whole transgender craze of children monetarily based? I kind of think it is, actually. I can't imagine what else would be the reason why you would do this to children. Before I leave you today, I want to remind you of a book that was that they tried to ban. The ACLU lawyer tried to ban this book. It's called Irreversible Damage, okay? The Transgender Craze Seducing Our Daughters. And it's by my very good friend, Abigail Schreier. She is a great friend of mine. She is not transphobic. She gets called it all the time, right? They just love to do that. I'm actually a chapter in the book. I'm not telling you to get it because of that, but I just want you to know that I have cared about these kids since the beginning of this happened. This isn't new for me. I got involved in this from the beginning. And when she wrote this book, they really tried to ban it. They did get it banned off Amazon, and then it finally got put back. But that's the hypocrisy that I don't want to give. I told you from the beginning, I don't think these books should be banned. I think books should be in appropriate places, okay? And if you're going to have those books on Amazon, you have to have this book on Amazon as well, in my opinion, because you can't just give one side of the story. You got to give, especially parents, the opportunity to investigate what's best for their child, okay? So if you're only saying transing is the only option, then you're not being honest about the situation, okay? So with that, I really appreciate you all subscribing to the channel. It really, really helping my channel grow. I really, really, really appreciate you being in the chats when I do this. I appreciate all the commentary we get to do with each other. And with that, bottom line is we're going to save these kids, okay? Me, you, and all of us together who care about this situation, we are going to save these kids from being put in an irreversible space. So with that, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys all on the live on Wednesday, and I'll see you on the next one.